Hey everybody, it's Abo T. And listen, I know you're fired up for 2025. This is your year, right? The year you finally crush those goals, ditch the bad habits, and become the best version of yourself. But here's the deal. Transformation isn't just about what you start doing. It's about what you stop doing. It's about breaking free from those pesky patterns that have held you back in the past. In this video, I'm going to give you the no BS, actionable steps to avoid repeating the mistakes that have tripped you up before. We're going to identify those patterns, rewire your thinking, and set you up for success in 2025. Ready to break free? Let's do this. Alright, let's get real for a second. We've all been there, right? Making the same mistakes over and over again, even when we swear we've learned our lesson. It's frustrating, it's exhausting, and honestly, it's a little embarrassing. But here's the thing, those repeating mistakes, they're not random, they're patterns. Think of it like this. Every time you hit a roadblock, your brain creates a neural pathway, and the more you travel down that same path, the more ingrained it becomes. So, if you're constantly facing the same challenges, it's because your brain is stuck in a rut. But here's the good news. You're not powerless. The first step to breaking free is awareness. Grab a journal, your phone, whatever works for you, and start jotting down those recurring mistakes. What keeps tripping you up? Is it procrastination, self-sabotage, toxic relationships? Get specific. Once you've identified those mistakes, dig a little deeper. What were the triggers? What were the circumstances? This isn't about beating yourself up for past mistakes. It's about understanding your patterns so you can finally break free. Okay, so we've identified those pesky patterns that have been holding you back. You can't move forward if you're dragging around a suitcase full of guilt and shame. It's like trying to run a marathon with a backpack full of rocks. We've all messed up, every single one of us. The key is to stop letting those past mistakes define you. You are not your mistakes. You are not your failures. It starts with self-forgiveness. Acknowledge your mistakes, learn, and move on. Every night, write down one thing you forgive yourself for. Replace negative self-talk with positive affirmations. The more you practice self-forgiveness, the lighter you'll feel. Alright, let's talk about goals. We all set them, right? Especially at the beginning of a new year. This is the year I'm gonna lose weight, write that book, learn the ukulele. But how often do those resolutions actually stick? Ditch the vague resolutions and get crystal clear on what you want to achieve. And that's where SMART goals come in. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Set a SMART goal and make it happen. Chapter 4. Build systems, not just willpower. Make success inevitable. Let's talk about willpower for a second. We often rely on it to make changes in our lives, right? We white-knuckle our way through those first few days or weeks, determined to resist temptation and stick to our goals. But here's the thing about willpower. It's a finite resource. It's like a muscle that gets tired after a while. Think about it. How many times have you started a new diet with the best of intentions, only to cave a few days later when you're stressed, tired, or faced with a plate of freshly baked cookies? It's not because you're weak, it's because you're human. That's why willpower alone won't cut it. If you really want to avoid repeating past mistakes, you need to build systems that make success inevitable. Think of it like this. Systems are the guardrails that keep you on track, even when your willpower is running low. So, how do you build these magical systems? Start by identifying the areas where you tend to struggle. Where do you usually fall off track? What are your biggest triggers? Once you've identified those areas, get creative and start brainstorming solutions. Remember, systems aren't about being perfect, they're about making it easier to stay on track, even when you don't feel like it. Chapter 5. Learn to say no. Boundaries are your superpower. Let's be honest, how many of your past mistakes stem from saying yes when you really wanted to say no? It's time to embrace the power of no. Saying no isn't selfish, it's self-care. It's about protecting your time, your energy, and your mental health. Think about it. When you constantly say yes to everything and everyone, you spread yourself too thin. You end up feeling overwhelmed, resentful, and ultimately, more likely to make mistakes. So, how do you get better at setting boundaries? Start by recognizing your limits. What are your non-negotiables? What are the things that drain your energy and leave you feeling depleted? Once you know your limits, start communicating them clearly and assertively. Remember, you don't have to explain yourself or apologize for saying no. A simple, "No thank you," or "I'm not able to commit to that right now" is enough. Chapter 6. Track your progress. Data doesn't lie. Okay, we've talked about identifying patterns, rewiring your mindset, setting smart goals, building systems, and setting boundaries. Now let's talk about tracking your progress. Because here's the thing, what gets measured gets managed. Think about it. If you're trying to lose weight, wouldn't it make sense to track your calories and your workouts? If you're trying to save money, wouldn't it make sense to track your spending and your savings? Of course it would. Tracking your progress gives you valuable data. It helps you see what's working, what's not working, and where you need to make adjustments. It's like having a roadmap that shows you exactly where you are on your journey and what you need to do to reach your destination. The key is to find a system that works for you and stick with it. Make it a habit to review your progress regularly, whether it's weekly, monthly, or quarterly. Celebrate your wins, big and small, and use any setbacks as opportunities to learn and adjust your approach. Chapter 7. Anticipate challenges. Plan for the roadblocks. Let's face it, no matter how well you plan, there will always be challenges along the way. Life is messy, unexpected things happen, and sometimes you just want to throw in the towel and eat a whole pizza. But here's the thing, you don't have to let those challenges derail you. One of the best ways to avoid repeating past mistakes is to anticipate challenges and plan for them in advance. Identify the potential roadblocks that could trip you up and create a plan to overcome them. For example, if you're trying to eat healthier, but know that you tend to overeat at parties, create a plan for those situations. Maybe you eat a healthy snack before you go, or maybe you bring your own healthy dish to share. If you're trying to stick to a budget, but know that you're tempted by impulse purchases, create a system for handling those urges. Remember, the more prepared you are, the less likely you are to be thrown off course by challenges. Chapter 8. Surround yourself with accountability partners. Find your tribe. Alright, let's talk about the importance of having a support system. Transformation is rarely a solo journey. Having people in your corner who believe in you, support you, and hold you accountable can make all the difference. Think about it. When you're trying to make a change, it's easy to get discouraged, to talk yourself out of it, to slip back into old patterns. But when you have someone to cheer you on, to remind you of your why, to pick you up when you stumble, it makes the journey so much easier. So how do you find your tribe? Start by identifying the people in your life who are already supportive and encouraging. Talk to them about your goals, share your struggles, and ask for their help. If you don't have a strong support system in place, don't worry. There are plenty of ways to find your people. The key is to surround yourself with people who lift you up, inspire you, and challenge you to be your best self. Chapter 9. Celebrate progress, not perfection. Enjoy the journey. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground today, but there's one last thing I want to leave you with. The importance of celebrating your progress. Too often, we get so caught up in striving for perfection that we forget to enjoy the journey. We focus on our shortcomings, our mistakes, the gap between where we are and where we want to be, and we miss out on the joy of progress. Here's the thing, perfection is a myth. It's an illusion. It's a moving target that will always be just out of reach. So, how do we break free from the perfection trap? It starts with shifting our focus from perfection to progress. Instead of beating yourself up for not being where you want to be yet, celebrate how far you've come. Look at how far you've come since you set those goals. Acknowledge your efforts, your resilience, your commitment to growth. Remember, transformation is a journey, not a destination. Be kind to yourself, celebrate your progress, and enjoy the ride. So there you have it, folks. 9 actionable steps to avoid repeating mistakes and transform yourself in 2025. I know it's a lot to take in, but here's the thing. You don't have to do it all at once. Start small. Pick 1 or 2 things that resonate with you and focus on those. Remember, transformation is a process, not an event. It takes time, it takes effort, and it takes commitment. But I know you have what it takes. I believe in you. Now, I want to hear from you. What's one mistake you're determined to avoid repeating in 2025? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and share it with your friends who are ready to make this year their best one yet.